We're on the cloud. Sorry.
Yep. There you
go. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody to 49 Fridays. Cindy is out of town, and so Melissa and I are hosting along with Elva Sy. So first, we're just going to go around and have everybody introduce themselves, tell us where you work, and that way Jason knows who his audience is. So we will start with, who's over there? Scott Redelman. We'll go from the bottom. Yeah.
Good morning. Doesn't look like my camera's on. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Oh, there's the button.
There you go. There you are.
Hello, good morning. So I'm Scott Redelman, and I work for Toyota Material Handling. I do process improvement consulting for customers, and I also volunteer for the Chamber Board. Happy to be here.
Okay. Brian?
Good morning, everybody. Brian Rushton with LHP Data Analytics and IoT Solutions, and I guess also today the president of our local IU alumni chapter here in Columbus.
All right, let's see here. Who am I? Okay. Kylie, are you here?
Yep.
Good morning. I'm the Startup Ecosystem Manager for Velocities. And I just ran outside really quick because I thought it was dark and stormy this morning, but it's actually quite nice. So we're out here.
All right. Veronica?
Hello, I'm Veronica Prevost. I'm with Kemper CPA Group. I'm an accountant over here.
Okay, we know it's not Liz Cleland, but that's what the screen says.
Hi, I'm Jaden. I'm an intern for the workshop.
Great, thank you. Is that who I'm missing? Yep. Christine?
Christina.
Yeah, I never respond to Christy. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said Christine, but I guess we got that right.
Yeah, I was like, who's that? No, never mind. Okay, so yes, Christina Smith, the practice representative for Family Chiropractic and Wellness right here in Columbus, 1405 Washington Street, where I offer free wellness education to local businesses. So glad to be here.
I'm not sure who the phone number is.
Hi, I'm 239-811.
That's a Florida number.
Hi there, this is Sierra Williams. This is the first time I'm attending. Sorry I couldn't be on my computer. I just dropped off my kids at school. It's a kind of a hard time to make, but yeah. I'm here. Anyhow, I am a Salesforce and website builder freelancer.
All right, wonderful. Awesome. Welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sai, I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. Well, I have the prepared bio, which is hilarious because Jason and I
better be so
10
good.
times a day. So I could tell you the real one, or I could tell you this very official one since we're recording this. Jason Whitney, who serves as the Associate Vice President for Indiana University Ventures and Executive Director of the IU Angel Network, supporting and developing Indiana University affiliated entrepreneurial ecosystems nationwide. His responsibilities include managing the operations of the IU Angel Network, leveraging new and existing partnerships to fully benefit IU entrepreneurs, and conducting business development and due diligence activities at the IU Philanthropic Venture Fund. Prior to his appointment, Whitney served as Vice President for Launch Indiana at Launch Fishers, where he was responsible for the development and execution of the statewide innovation-driven entrepreneurial capacity building. That is a whole lot of words. The easy way to say Jason and sum him up is he is literally the most connected dude in the ecosystem for entrepreneurship in Indiana. So if he doesn't know him, they just moved here or something. So with that, Jason, take it away.
Yeah, thank you. That's what happens when you let IU Communications write your bio for you. I am going to share my screen because I have a couple of slides. I was getting a little nervous there. I thought maybe we got looped into a classroom. Jaden looked so young that somehow we were in online learning. Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I haven't been to Columbus for quite a while, which is my fault. I used to come to Columbus a lot to do stuff with the chamber and Cindy and Melissa, and it's been quite a while. Our Launch Indiana initiatives really kind of started with Columbus. That was one of the first communities that we worked in through Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann's office, where we went to communities like Columbus and Terre Haute and Richmond and Anderson and Fort Wayne, and tried to find ways that we could encourage innovation-driven entrepreneurship and provide support services to help those people to stay in those communities. So, folks who grew up in Columbus and were going to be good school board members and be good members of the community, we wanted to be able to support them and allow them to stay there. I transitioned from that position down to the university in November of 2017 to support faculty entrepreneurial efforts and commercialization of research projects. Did that for quite a while, launched a new initiative called the IU Quarry that we since have transitioned to the Tech Transfer Office. And now I spend the majority of my time focused on supporting faculty, students, and alumni in entrepreneurial ventures that are venture-backed entities. So work closely with Cy and the Velocities team in that effort, as well as the Dimension Mill here in Bloomington, where our offices are. A little bit about our organization. We originally were the tech transfer office for IU, so we did all of the licensing and patent work for the university just before I came. So in July of 2017, the university took that function back in-house and left us with a team of just Jason to go out and kind of barnstorm around the state and see where the opportunities were. In March of 18, so then just a few months later, we launched the IU Philanthropic Venture Fund, which is an $11 million fund that was started with some money that we had, but it currently is a donated pool of capital where we invest in those companies, like I mentioned before, early stage investments. And our concept there is we're trying to make sure we come in on projects and help support those entrepreneurs to get to the point where they could then go out and raise some additional money. So the additional dollars raised on those projects is a metric that we gauge our success on. So are we putting our money where other people want to put their money? But that's kind of the concept that we're working on. We have two initiatives underneath our umbrella of IU Ventures. One is the Philanthropic Venture Fund, and the other is the IU Angel Network, and we'll talk about both of those today. The IU Philanthropic Venture Fund is a way for donors to engage in the network. I don't love all these slides either, by the way, but they're what I have. It's a way for donors to engage. So we work closely with the IU Foundation, people who would generally be giving philanthropically to the university instead of dedicating your money to the School of Public Health or to the business school. You could put your money into the venture fund, not for a return. It's an evergreen fund. So if we have a company that sells for $1 million, that $1 million, that's our portion of that $1 million comes back into the fund so we can do more investments. But they can donate their money into the fund. So their $1, if we do our job right, could be $7 later on down the road. If we do our job poorly, it's $0, but we still supported an entrepreneur in those efforts. So the money was still put to good use. We started with 11 million in 2018. Our plans are to grow that up to 50 million through charitable gifts and investment returns. We're not making any investments currently. In 2020, we have made 18 investments in a variety of different verticals since March of 2018, which is in the venture capital world, very, very aggressive. So we're spending our time through the pandemic trying to make sure that we can take care of the people that are in our own house and make sure that their needs are met and that we can connect them to the Hoosier alumni ecosystem as well as we can. We have reviewed 325 alumni or faculty-led companies since March of 2018. So with a team of 3 people, that's a lot of meetings to take. We have taken 35 of those companies to our investment committee and made 18 actual investments, a little over $7 million. And like I mentioned, the metric that we really look at for being successful there is that co-investment number. So $58.2 million of additional co-investment into those deals. So we feel really good about that so far. These are a couple of the companies that we have invested in. Several of them are faculty led, and most of those there on that list, that's a pretty early list, are Indiana based. We have investments all across the country. Chicago, Boston, Indianapolis, Bloomington. We have reviewed a couple projects out of Columbus. You might know the guys from Conversite. They're a deal that we've reviewed several times. And actually the guys from Conversite are a story that I tell frequently. We originally told Ganesh, no, we were not going to be able to make an investment. And we talked to them very early on in their development of their company. And but we explained to them why it was we couldn't invest in them. And they came back to us a full calendar year later and said, can we have another meeting? And I thought, the last thing I need is another meeting. I don't know why we're going to meet with these guys. And they said, no, we understand, but we want to meet with you to show you what we did since you met with us originally. You were the only people that told us no, but also told us why you were telling us no. And we appreciated that feedback. And we want to show you how we worked on those things that you gave us to work on. So that was a really nice time for our team to recognize that we were providing value to people, even if we weren't being able to invest in their companies. And that's really a core mission of what we're working on, is to provide value on some level. And Cy and I, he said we text every day. We pretty much do, is because we're always looking for ways to help companies or to help people in our ecosystem to be better at what they're doing. So that's really a core piece of what we're doing. Throughout the time where we were asking people for donations to the Philanthropic Venture Fund, we had numerous people that said, hey, you guys are finding these really cool deals and you're already doing all the due diligence on them. Could I invest in those companies as well? And we didn't have a vehicle for them to be able to do that. So we had a colleague, Ted Green, who worked for about 9 months on developing the IU Angel Network. We did a lot of benchmarking against other universities and trying to see who was doing this well and how we could replicate that here for the state of Indiana. So we launched the network in September of 2019. And oddly enough, Ted was going to run the network and got a job outside of our organization the week we launched it. So I took that program over. It gives alumni and Angel members an opportunity to have an early stage look into IU affiliated investment opportunities. We do all the due diligence on the front end. So if you come in as a new angel and you don't have a lot of experience in the world of venture or reviewing deals, you're getting a professional investment case from our team to use to start your review of that company, which I think has given a lot of people a leg up, and they appreciate that. And it also gives you an opportunity to network with other angels across the country. I think we currently have 32 angels in the network. Gives you an opportunity to network with those folks and potentially do deals outside of the network with them. We use the same deal funnel pipeline, and we review those deals because, some deals are good for a traditional venture investment and some deals are better served to be on the angel side. I think Cy's a member of our angel network, and last couple of deals we've done, I think he would agree, they're really early. They're pre-revenue. On paper, you think, why would I do this? But the angels have expressed a lot of interest in me to the fact that they want to find these really early stage deals so that they can engage with the management team and help them be better entrepreneurs, which is a really fun piece of what we do. It's not about the money all the time. It's about helping people and helping people be better entrepreneurs. And maybe this deal they're working on right now is not the right deal, but the next one will be. And so we're helping train them up to be better that next time around. And it's not a fund. Everybody makes their own investment decisions. So once a month, we make presentations. Entrepreneurs make live presentations to our angels, and they get to decide at the end of the day, thumbs up or thumbs down. I want to invest or I don't want to invest. And so that gives people a lot of flexibility. Some networks, you get a vote and majority wins, and your money might get put into a company that you don't like, or you're investing in a fund and the fund is making the decision on your behalf. This way you're in full control of your money and you're engaged in the companies that you want to be engaged in. An important note about the people that are in our network, they all have an IU affiliation. So the angels, and I already mentioned to the companies, but the angels also are faculty members, alumni, or parents of students, which is where we've seen some interesting growth in the network. People who are wanting to be better connected to Bloomington and the university, but they didn't go to school here, and their students are having an amazing experience, and they're using this as their vehicle to be engaged with IU. And all the folks in the network are accredited investors, so there's a federal designation there that you have to meet. to be able to participate. One thing I'm exploring right now that I think we will roll out soon is more of an affiliate membership or an educational membership, some folks call it, where for a much lower dollar figure, you could be engaged and learning about how to review deals, how to evaluate the management teams, but not have the opportunity to invest in those deals. And I have a lot of folks who are on the verge of being accredited investors, or they know they're going to be there in the next 18 months, and I currently don't have a way to engage those folks. So I think this more educational membership will provide us an opportunity to train people to be hitting the ground faster when they get to the point where they are accredited.
Can you tell them what that means to be accredited investor?
Yeah, it's $200,000 a year in annual salary or $1 million in net assets, not including your home. So they're actually, I think those numbers are actually going to go down in some legislation that's looking to be passed, which would open it up a little bit more widely. We charge a membership fee on purpose, $1,500 a year, and that has helped me to make sure that the people that are engaged in our network are people who are actually going to make investments. It's real easy if it was free for people to come in and kick the tires, and I think my friend John Wexler would call them entrepreneurs or pretendpreneurs, and because I could have 100 people in the network right now if I just let anybody sign up that wanted to sign up. And so charging the $1,500 fee, even if someone is an accredited investor, is kind of a limiting factor and helps me weed out who's real and who's not. So on the angel network side, we have 18 on the venture side. We just started presenting deals in February. Is that bridge in Columbus, by the way? Yeah. Ted, when he made this slide deck, he's like, I don't know where that is on campus. And I kept telling him, that's in Columbus, dude. So we started pitching deals in February. We've done 4 completed investments. Around $400,000 in capital has been supplied to those startups. The companies that we've invested in, Stage Time is bottom right. That's a Bloomington-based startup. Amplified Sciences is an Indianapolis-based life science startup. And Scalero is in San Francisco. And Recess is in Los Angeles. And Scalero and Recess are interesting stories because they're at the end result of some external outreach that I spent a lot of 2019 doing, where we literally just traveled across the country for the entire year and searched out IU alumni in all the cities we went to, people we did not know, and just said, hey, can we have coffee? Can we grab a beer? Can we have lunch with you? I want to tell you what we're doing. I want to learn what you're doing. I'm not asking you for anything. And the founders of both of those companies were people that we met on our travels and curated a relationship with for about a year before we made an investment into their companies. Oh, look who it is. Mr. Wexler. I speak of the devil and he pops up. That is pretty scary. So that's some stuff. I don't know. I thought maybe we'd have some questions. Hi, John.
How you doing, Jason?
Did you hear me say your name?
Right as I logged in, actually, I wanted to come and stalk you a little bit and just say hey. So yeah, I did actually. Entrepreneurs, glamourpreneurs. You forgot the pretendpreneurs.
No, I said pretendpreneurs. I don't ever leave that one out. Yeah. So,
all right.
So good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
So that's some stuff about what we're working on. I'd love to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
That's awesome. Can you kind of tell people how they can get involved if they're interested in angel investing through?
Yeah, so please reach out to me. Our team is really eager to encourage more angel investment in the region. The Dimension Mill also has a really exciting new platform that they've just launched called the Flywheel Fund. And that I think started with 13 angels, and looking at the list, several of those folks are new angels. And so there, I think it's a lot of sharing and learning together is where we're going to get better. By joining the IU Angel Network, you get automatic admission into the Angel Capital Association. And so that's another nice opportunity if you just want to kind of kick the tires and learn that joining the Angel Capital Association allows you to tap into a lot of educational webinars that take place, usually around lunchtime, and they're weekly, and they have a lot of good content to teach people how to do stuff like that.
Awesome. And how about on the company side, if somebody wants to pitch to IU, either your side or Terry's side?
Yeah, so we have the same deal flow funnel. All deals come through myself and Samantha Ginther on our team. We're the front line of defense if you want to get into the castle. So on our website, iuventures.com, we have a form to fill out and supply some information about your company. We do an intro call with everybody at the very least, a very minimum. So, it's at least an opportunity where we can provide you some feedback, and maybe there's some other venues that we can refer you to if it's not the right opportunity for you to be lined up with us. But I think one thing I would point out there was, we talked about reviewing 325 deals and making 18 investments. It's difficult. It's more difficult for us to engage with folks and say no than it is for somebody like Hyde Park or another venture fund to do that, because the people we're dealing with are all our constituents, right? Everybody is an alumni of the university, or faculty of the university. And so they have this, you're pulling at the heartstrings if you say no, right? My mom doesn't love me anymore. And so that's why we have a really hard time saying no, but we clearly say no way more times than we say yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I've never really even thought about it that way.
It's hard. I mean, it's really difficult to weigh out whether you, how you say no to people is really the hardest part of what we do, because you have to do it a lot. But what I have found is we've created this network of people across the country. So even when I have to say, no, this is not a good fit for me, there's someone in our network of IU alumni. I call it IU founders and funders. And I've collected this small LinkedIn group of people across the country that are willing to help and want to be engaged with other Hoosiers. And I think the cheesy term for it is Hoosiers helping Hoosiers, but it really holds true. And as I've talked to people on my travels, everybody says, what can I do? Every single person says, what can I do? Just tell me what I can do. I'll talk to anybody. I'll do anything you want. And that has really held true. I've got people in Boston that are helping people in Boulder with their slide decks. Yesterday I connected a person at the Dimension Mill to a person in Myanmar on the other side of the world to help her with her startup company. We connected just this week, somebody in Houston to somebody in New York City. And I think they're literally going to do a deal in the next week and take the product worldwide. And we don't get anything out of that. There's no benefit to us other than being able to tell those stories and make those connections. And my hope is 18 months from now, something cool happens and we either get to tell an even better story and use that for leverage for something else, or somebody says, that was amazing, here's a check.
That's awesome. And that brings up an interesting point. So with Elevate Ventures, we can only invest in Indiana-based companies, but yours are any IU affiliation, is that right?
Yeah. They got to be United States, but as long as that IU affiliation is strong enough, and I've had people try and play every game you can try and play, right? My cousin's neighbor one time went to Bedford and he had to drive to Bloomington. Can I count that? Stuff like that. I had a guy last week that he had a kid on his team that went to IU. Nobody else did. He's like, what if I change his title to chief something officer? I'm like, that doesn't count, dude. I'm not trying to play that game. I want stuff that's organic, and I have enough of it that I don't have to make it up as we go along.
Yeah. How can we help you as a group?
That's a good question. Referrals are always great, right? If you know somebody in the community that might be interested, that's an IU, passionate IU person that wants to be a member of the Angel Network. If you know somebody that's just a great, smart person that's willing to review some technology for us from time to time, I love having a stable of people that we can call to do that. Or if you come across any startup companies that that have an IU affiliation, we would love to chat with them as well. Those are always great conversations.
Awesome. Do you guys have an investment thesis? I don't know that I've ever asked that question.
I don't know. I know what I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like hanging on the wall somewhere.
Yeah, but you're not pre-seed or seed or check size or
no.
industry.
Our industry agnostic, seed agnostic. We tend to lean towards early stage seed, and our average check size. That is an interesting question. Is around 400 right now on the venture side. We've done everything from 150 up to $1 million. Yeah.
Awesome. I feel like I'm monopolizing the questions. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, I got a bunch, but.
I have a question that I was just kind of wondering about. I'm just curious, what is the ratio of faculty to students to alumni who come to you in the 335 or whatever number it was who pitched to you? What number of that was students, what number was faculty, and what was alumni?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kylie. It's a lot smaller on the student side. I mean, tens on the student side. The majority of those are alumni. I would say 85% of those are alumni. And then, we work closely with the faculty to try and get opportunities that are commercially viable. And there's a lot of amazing research out there, but sometimes it is what I just said, it's amazing research, and there just isn't anybody to drive it forward. So finding the management talent is a need for us. So that actually kind of going back to what Sai was saying, that's a place where we actually could use some assistance if you or somebody that's an experienced management team member. We're always looking for folks that kind of fit that bill that we can help plug into those companies. And I think Sai would agree when we figure that out and we do it well, it's an awesome feeling to know that you're getting some research off the campus and you've connected it with a manager who can take it and is willing to run it in the business world. Twofold: one, the world benefits from the technology, but two, we get to keep our faculty researcher on campus educating students, which is what they want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've been able to do that with a few companies, and it's really rewarding. Even more so that we don't get anything out of it personally. It's just such a cool process, and everybody's so thankful. And
yeah.
What other kind of questions?
And it's hard though. That connecting talent to startups is super hard, right? I mean, because it's a really low probability that you're putting the right people in the right place at the right time on the right technology. I mean, it's almost impossible. The one we just did was an outlier. And I feel really good about that one. But the more people we're able to talk to and kind of have in our mental Rolodex as far as folks that we can plug in, the better for us.
Agreed. Anybody else got some questions? You're a quiet group this morning.
Man, this is a quiet group. It's a poor presentation.
No, actually, I had a question and you answered it, so now I don't have that question anymore.
You're just too good, Jason.
I guess. This is not my first rodeo, pal.
No, it is not. So you had and that's an interesting point. Then you came from Launch Fishers. Can you kind of tell us how you got from Richmond to Bloomington?
Yeah, I mean, I have a weird entrepreneurial journey. I had a screen printing and embroidery shop, and then I had a pizza place, and then I had a semi-truck repair facility, and then I was going to run a sports bar, and then I ended up in a co-working space, and almost more of a community development piece than about the innovation-driven entrepreneurship piece. But I quickly realized that we were never going to save our community by not ever leaving our four walls. So I started attending a lot of events in Indianapolis and figuring out different programming that they were doing in Indianapolis that I could replicate in Richmond, and became friends with Denver Hutt from the Speakeasy and Jacob Spock, and then saw this opportunity to join John, and Jacob was nice enough to introduce me to John and his team, and it was a good fit. And I have to admit, I was probably punching above my weight class there when John gave me a chance to do that. And but then I rode shotgun with him and his team for a year around the state, and spreading the goodwill and the learnings from the things from Launch Fishers and the IoT Lab and Launch Indy, and all of the amazing things that Mayor Fadness has instituted in the city of Fishers. And I think we were able to affect a lot of lives around the state, right? And there's still resources and networks that I use today at the university to engage all of our regional campuses into the economic development engines in all of those individual communities and those 7 communities. So I think it is a winding road, and I think I drove 135,000 miles in 2 years when I was at Launch Fishers. So I literally know every podcast you could ever listen to, and I have spent my fair share of time sitting on I-70 in traffic, but I think we did some good stuff, and it's definitely things that we use today.
And then from Fishers to Bloomington, how'd that come about?
Tony I think he really wanted my network. He told me that early on, was the university knows university people, everyone else. And so that was an opportunity for them to kind of, in one bat, expand their outreach around the state. And I was able to bring some immediate credibility to what they were working on. And I think also I have worked for a long time in a pretty autonomous state, and so I don't need a lot of oversight. And I just kind of, Tony and I call it run to the light, right? You see something that looks cool, go do it, and don't beat your head against the wall on stuff that doesn't matter. And so I have the flexibility to continue to do that, and as long as I continue to put out good work in that manner, it makes it easy for them to trust me to do that.
That's awesome.
Jason, how do you market this program? Because I know here at the Chamber, we are struggling with how to find the entrepreneurs, the startup people who are doing things on the side and that kind of thing. How do you find the companies that pitch to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. And honestly, a lot of it goes back to how I got started running the co-working space in Richmond. When we started that project, when I took it over, that building was for sale. It had no management. It had no tenants. And it was a 10,000 square foot building. And I found 2 guys that I knew worked in tech. I took them to lunch and I said, this is fun. Like, can we get 2 more guys? Can you bring friends next week? And you guys in Columbus have heard me tell this story before. The next week, bring 2 more people. And so by the time you get done, I've got a network of people who all trust each other because you got invited by your friend who already was in the circle. And we did that there. I think that's not too dissimilar to what John and I did at Launch Indiana, where we'd go to Columbus. And I spent days in communities where I would go to Cy and I would say, who are the people that that helped you? And then I'd go find that person and I'd talk to them and I'd talk to them. I think one time in Columbus, I talked to 67 people in 2 days, and I just keep finding people. And, so then you built this. I was worn out too. That trip to Terre Haute was terrible. And so, just literally organically growing that. And that's literally what I do today. Like, the first time I went to Boulder last year, I knew one guy. I said, Kevin, I want to have dinner with some IU people. He brought 10 people to dinner that were IU alums in Boulder, Colorado. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. the next time I said, I'm coming back next month and we're going to have breakfast. I need everybody to bring a friend. We had 16. I went back the next month. We had 27. I went back the next month. We had 60 IU people getting together. And we did that in Boston. We did it in New York City. We did it in San Francisco. And I just keep doing that everywhere we go. And that way I'm getting trusted people that feel like they're onto something special, right? Because they're getting invited into this circle. And that is not the most efficient way of doing it probably, but it's the most effective way for me to do it.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Hey, Jason, we were contact tracing before contact tracing was cool.
You know what? You're right. That is right. Yeah. I feel, yeah. Somebody owes us a royalty on that, I think.
Should have filed for it. Should have filed.
You know what? But John has a point. Like it's all about the network. And I did a call the other day with a guy in Utah, and he said, listen, pal, the value in what you're doing isn't about the money that you're putting into these companies. It's about the network of people that you're developing and how you utilize that network for good. And so he was like, never lose sight of the group and how they intertwine. So thankfully I was already kind of on that path, but it was good to have some validation on that.
Yeah. John, I'm glad you're on the call. How is Test Kitchen doing, like with all of this going on? I was thinking about you the other day.
My phone hiccup there. You asked how is what during all of this?
How is Test Kitchen doing?
Oh, you know what? It's funny. I'm putting together an update for our board, and so I'm deep diving on a lot of the stats and kind of the trends over the last 4 or 5 months. And we're actually a little bit stunned as we've been watching it come back. We're approaching probably 2/3 to 75% for most of them of the business volumes that were pre-COVID, and we aren't doing lunch 4 days a week. So wow. I would say it's bounced back pretty mightily, and things look really, really good there. So we're very pleased with it. But thank you for asking.
That's great.
I don't want to steal Jason's thunder here, and I want to hear more about IU Ventures. That's why I tuned in. But no, happy to jump on sometime and talk all you want about Test Kitchen and food and IoT and launch.
Well, when can we get you on the calendar? You got your calendar in front of you?
Hey, yeah, we pick a date. I'll tell you what, in the world
What are you doing next Friday?
There you go, yeah. Hey, you got 48 other Fridays.
Yep.
Yeah, we can do something if you guys want to. I'd love to. And now that we're all a lot more comfortable doing Zoom conferences, it makes it a whole lot easier to commit. You know, when Jason talked about driving corner to corner around the state, I mean, I can vouch for that. We literally were week in, week out, him more than anyone, just covering every corner of the state. And that's a different discipline. But to jump on a Zoom conference is so much easier to connect with, 12 people at a time and just do that, many times a week. So yeah, happy to anytime. I'd love to.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yep.
I told somebody the story earlier this week about when I was not smart about doing those trips. And one Friday I went to Evansville for lunch, 4.5 hours. And then I stopped to go to the NCAA games with Swords and Indy on the way back. I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. And then the next Friday I went to South Bend for lunch and drove back. And I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, you have to make this a better trip and you have to spend the night. You cannot continue to do this. You'll kill yourself.
Well, and the really fun thing about it, for true Hoosiers, I mean, if you're dyed in the wool, the fun thing about this is you get to know places and see places and learn the state like nobody. I mean, running the back roads of Indiana to get from, Huntingburg to Lagodi over to down to Jasper and around to Evansville, that is it's just, I don't know. I find that really interesting and fun. You get to see a lot of cool places.
Oh, I probably know where there's at least 15 bald eagle nests and probably 25 hot dog stands.
Nice.
Yeah. Drive up root beer places like Northeast Indiana. There's so many great root beer stands with hot dogs.
Best pork tenderloin in all of Indiana.
Oh
Yeah, I had a little blog going for a while about the best root beer stands in Indiana. Yeah.
That could be a book there.
I think it could be. Yeah. I think it could be. Yeah. It's fun. Maybe about the future of size, something we could touch on.
Sure.
The future of our program. I think as we're able to continue to support and track our portfolio companies, and we can expand the amount of capital that we have available to invest in companies, that'll help on that side. I think on the angel network side, my goal is to have around 45 angels at the end of this year. And then I think if we're able to institute that more educational, more fellowship type membership, I can probably add another 15 to 20 folks in that category as well. We're getting ready to bring on some national corporate sponsors for the network that I think are going to help us also bring some credibility when we go to the coasts. So it's not going to be, yes, it helps when I have the IU flag behind my head, but the concept is new for the university. But these national corporate partners are going to allow us to enter some markets that we aren't currently in, like Atlanta, DC, Seattle, Dallas, Austin. And we'll be able to immediately tap into their network of contacts and spread our message more rapidly, that I think will accelerate our growth. So I'm hoping to get that network stood up just a little bit more solidly, but I'm real happy with the 4 investments we've done so far this year and the one that's under due diligence right now. I really only thought we would maybe do 4 deals in a whole year. And we've done 4 already. So super, super excited about the growth there. And I know all the messages that I get back from the leadership at the university are all positive as well.
Awesome. Yeah, you touched on corporate partners. That's kind of the direction you've went lately, right?
Yeah, I really just started exploring the concept in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been very well received. And I'm not reaching out to Jim's law shop in Bloomington. These are global national companies who are interested in partnering with the university. And the message that they've expressed to me is, we'd like to partner with people that have a name brand. And, I'm reaching out to them for the same reason, but they're saying to me, IU is a known entity and a name brand, and we want to partner with you because of that. We have the 3rd largest living alumni base in the world. Indiana University does. So we can tap into 720,000 lives on some level. And we've heard from our portfolio companies a lot that when IU sends out a press release with their name on it, that they definitely see the internet traffic increase on their side. So we know there's some power in that voice, and we're trying to make sure that we're leveraging it both for us as well as those potential sponsors.
That's awesome. Awesome. Anybody got any other questions? Bueller?
This is a quiet crew, man.
I know, right? They're never this quiet.
Everybody's trying to get their kids on online learning at 9 a.m.
They were completely stunned at how well your presentation went, and you answered every single question they could ever have.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Jason, I think we need to do one of these talking about hot dogs, hot tenderloins, and root beer. Let's do our top 10.
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun. We got the podcast studio at the Dimension Mill.
That sounds exactly like a podcast.
The only requirement would be we'd have to be able to cross border and go over into Kentucky to talk about Dizzy Whiz.
Dizzy Whiz, yeah, we'd have to go to Dizzy Whiz for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Sai, have you ever been to Dizzy Whiz?
I have not.
Dude, we were in Louisville, and we're driving down the road, and there's a sign, and I'd seen it before. It's like this big, and it says Dizzy Whiz, and the minute I saw it, I thought, he's getting off the road, and John's like, we're going there.
It's like some sign that says it's like the best burger in the world, or some, something that gets your attention.
Yeah.
The minute I saw it, I knew we were screwed and we were getting off the road. And so we had to get off of the road, go to Dizzy Whiz. And it's like It is a hole in the wall, man, but it's pretty good.
My favorite kind of place.
It is. They're good burgers for sure. We need to go down to Louisville. Actually, we were going to First Build then, weren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a good trip too if you've never been to First Build.
Yeah, that's an example of crowdsourced and community innovation. I mean, it's free for every Kentucky resident to go in there, and they can invent whatever it is they think they can bring to market, and then GE uses it to source product development ideas that come in, and they give you a guaranteed royalty, and but you get all their equipment for free, supplies, assistance, and if you come up with something, so like one of their innovations was the ice cube. The ice machine that makes the little pencil eraser sized ice cubes.
Mm-hmm.
But they do that for the home now. And that device is actually sold in Home Depot. And the guy that invented it right there at First Build.
That's awesome.
Hey, could I get an update on the fish tank?
Yeah, I can walk in there and show you.
There's no one in there right now.
I think we're up to 8 members.
Well, we have active members,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
just hit or miss during the day, especially, and with the pandemic,
It's definitely decreased in traffic.
yeah.
So you still operate it as the fish tank?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I see there's another co-working space though in Columbus?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the workshop. We've got Jaden on the phone from the workshop.
If anybody could tell us about that, maybe an intern
Yes.
out there.
Jaden, take it away.
Oh, that's where
What's
Jaden
she
is. All right.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't find the right button.
You want to tell us about the workshop?
Yeah, so it's a co-working space, very collaborative. People get memberships, and we have like big workshop suites that people can rent out and use for different things. I know we have like an upholstery over here and like an art workshop, and it's fun. I get to meet a lot of new people, and it's very collaborative and open and friendly.
That's awesome. Where in town is that located?
Right off of like 31 going towards Taylorsville.
All right. Very cool.
It's a neat space.
How many people?
Go ahead.
How many people use that space?
Quite a few. This is only my first week here. So
All right.
there's a few.
Yeah, I think that you guys just opened like in February, right? So it kind of
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good timing. Yeah.
ramped up. Yeah.
That's great.
I would suggest also maybe you check out the Indiana Co-working Passport. It links you together with all the other co-works, indianacoworkingpassport.com. And we do regular calls and just try to keep people connected. And then we also bring together elected leaders and appointed leaders through various organizations to try to help the co-works around the state.
Yeah, that's a great idea for the workshop.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to tell Liz about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions, or we can wrap up a little early if you guys are questioned out.
Jason, have you seen an increase or a decrease in entrepreneurship, or is it kind of more just steady, or?
During the pandemic?
Yes.
Yeah, good question. We've stayed pretty steady. Honestly, we had kind of an influx of requests for funding in April. And the majority of those were people we were already engaged with who were just trying to make sure they weren't going to run out of money. And then it dropped off for maybe 3 weeks, but it picked right back up and back to normal, steady levels, which is exciting to know people are continuing to work on that. I mean, obviously there's opportunities that arise in times of crisis, and people are trying to take advantage of those. I think we had 12 ventilator companies at one time that were all reaching out that were the next best thing. I'm sure the IoT lab saw a lot of those as well. It was unbelievable the number of ventilator companies we had. But it's been fun to kind of filter through that process and see what new ideas people are coming up with that they're reaching out with.
We have seen the same, Jason. A lot of answers to the COVID crisis, but I also think that we're on the leading edge right now. What we're going to see is kind of the accidental entrepreneurs, the people that have been thrown into a requirement to innovate or become entrepreneurs themselves. And in my experience, having been through multiple economic contagions, if you will, different downturns, the one thing that I have seen is so often people turn to entrepreneurship either as solopreneurs, where they just put a shingle out and say, I'm now a consultant in strategy, or I'm this or I'm that. And you see a push of talent, sometimes not necessarily voluntary, right, where they've just been riffed or cut loose from a company. And you see a lot more talent and a lot more people chasing entrepreneurial dreams. And so now more than ever, I think it's important that organizations like the chambers and like the co-works and like the universities and the angel investors all support these entrepreneurs, because we're going to see a wave, I think, in the coming year or two. And with the benefit of history, we'll look back and we'll say, oh yeah, that was from this point to that point. I think we're just on the leading edge of what we're going to see as an entrepreneurial renaissance.
Yeah,
I think that's probably true, because a lot of especially in Columbus, a lot of the Cummins engineers their hours have been cut, so they got a little more time to focus on some other things. So,
are there any special programs in Columbus focused on those minority founders?
No, not right now that I'm aware of.
People working on it.
Yeah, I think there's a group that's working on it, but it is just nothing established yet.
Yeah. Okay. Some really interesting stuff in Indianapolis centered around that, and that new fund from Cincinnati that's launching an office in Indianapolis. I think they're going to be based out of 16 Tech. That I think is promising, and there is a group of younger venture employees called Next Gen that's doing a project called Blend that's based out of Chicago, but they're rolling out kind of a chapter of it here in Indiana that looks at diversity on boards of directors and management teams, and kind of does a survey of that, and then tries to identify talent to help fill those voids or recruit folks into positions to help diversify some of those teams. Samantha on our team is working on that project, and I think there's a lot of interesting opportunities there.
Awesome. Anybody got any questions?
Thanks for letting me crash your party, Jason.
Yeah, always good to chat, buddy.
Great to see you. We'll catch up soon, and let's get something on the books to do this another time down in Columbus, where we can talk Fishers and FTK and all that.
Yep, that would be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that. Thanks,
I'll give them
everybody.
Aaron's email address.
Exactly.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Thanks for
You
being
guys.
here. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, no worries. Happy to help.